Yeah, welcome to my class today. We are still on functions in C. In the last class, I gave you an introduction to function, and I went into showing you the trinity of a human being, which is what? The mind, the heart, and the brain. In this class, I'm just going to show you these various parts in a function. So without wasting much of your time, let's get started. All right. So I told you the trinity of a human being. I told you the heart, mind, the mind, the heart, and the brain. My channel is Religion, Science, and Technology, REST. The E stands for energy. I'm just trying to explain to you that religion, science, and technology are speaking the same language, but in different realms. That is basically what I'm doing with this channel. So, having shown you mind, heart, and brain as the trinity of a human being, and in the last class, I showed you how they are connected. Today, I'm going to show you function in C programming. I am still teaching manifestation in reality using programming as a guide, right? So, in teaching you function, I'm going to tell you the syntax of a function, which are what? First, we have uh, we have return type, return type, we have return type, we have function name, then we have parameter list, right? This is the syntax. In the last class, I introduced a small function, which is to add two numbers. So that is the function name. Now, from this return type, we can actually extract four uh, types of function. We can extract a function that will have that will have both return type and parameter list. So that is one, right? Then we can have the second one. We have a function without a return type. So you have function name, right? Then that will have parameter, but no return type. So this place will be known as what? Void. So that is another type. Then we have the third one. We can have a function that will have return type, then name, then but no parameter. You can have a function like this, like the main function. Then you can also have a function that will have uh, void, right? Then function name, right? And no return type. So you can have a function that will have return type, function name, and parameter. You can have a function that will have no return type, but there will be parameters applied to it. Then you can have a function with return type, but no parameter supply. And you can equally have a function with no return type, no parameter supply. So what is this function going to perform? So in the course of teaching you function, I'm going to show you example of these different types of function. So in this class, I just want to show you uh, the function and then show you the part that represents the mind, the heart, and the brain. So let's write a very simple function, which is what? Addition of two numbers. So I'm just going to say the function is int, that is the return type, this one. Then add, right? That is the function name. And then what would be this? So int A and int B. So this is the declaration of my function. What I have written here is what I've just shown you. Is the declaration, that is, I'm creating the function. But in a case where I'm just declaring the function, I do not necessarily have to write the variable. So I can equally write this function as int add int int. So this is equally correct. So let's write a full function. And then let me show you the part that represents these three. So I'm just going to wipe this off. Now let's write this function. In writing this function, I will say int add, and then int a, int b. So my curly bracket, because I'm going to write multiple statements. Then inside this function, I am going to create another variable, which is int sum, right? And I want it to house this. So A and B will be supplied. Once it is added, it will be saved in this place. Then I will say return sum. Then my curly bracket, I will close it here. So this is a function that I've written. Now this function, this part is the mind, this one is the heart, and then this one is the brain. Everything that I've written in this function is what we are seeing here. So the intention, which is where you are creating your thought, is what we have declared here. And then the process of what that function is going to do is what is going to take place in the heart. I told you in the last class that the mind will send thought signal to the brain and then send thought frequency to the heart that will resonate with the emotional frequency. Once that matches, energy will be supplied to the brain in order to allow that signal to flow through. Now, having written this function, it will remain at the mental state until it is called. So in calling this function, we need to bring in the last part, which is what? The main function. In every C programming language, there must always be at least one function, and that is the main function. That main function is what we refer to as the soul. So it is inside the soul that any of these thoughts, which represent function, will be called, and then parameters supplied to it. So in the next class, I'm going to show you how to write a main function and then call this function inside the main function, supplying the parameters to it so that it will act and then manifest for you to see. So we are still teaching manifestation in reality using programming as a guide. So that is what I want to show you in this class. Just to write a simple function, show you this function part with the mind, the heart, and the brain. And then the next class, I'm going to show you how to call this function. So till we see in the next class. Bye-bye.